Okay, good morning, everybody. Today is November 19th. This is the Ask Me Anything for CrossFit Linchpin. This is, of course, taking place live in the CrossFit Linchpin private track on the closed Facebook group. Members have submitted questions, other members have upvoted them, and the most upvoted questions will get answered now. And as always, we got some good ones. Rick, I see you. Good morning there. All right, let's dive right in before my puppy decides to chew something in my office. Patrick Starks, a question about missing workouts. Here's the exact wording. It was the most upvoted question. For those of us who hate missing workouts, especially the interval training days, not sure if he's being serious or sarcastic about that one. If we miss a day, would you rather have us, number one, do a 2-a-day to make it up? Number two, make it up on one of our off days, and with that possibly training 4 days in a row, or skip it and keep the rest days consistent? He says that he usually tries to make it up if possible. Okay, great question. As is often the case with some questions like this, it may be rather unsatisfying when I tell the truth, which is there's not one right answer that, this is what you have to do every time, and if you deviate from this, you have done fitness wrong. Okay, that's not it. It's highly personal. I'll say for me, just the way that I'm wired, and it probably isn't healthy if I'm being honest, I despise making workouts. If you hear that crunching sound, it's my dog working over a bone. I despise missing workouts. Like, it bothers my soul. Even if I probably needed the day off, there is something in the way that I'm wired that I have to knock out the workout. I don't care if it goes slowly. I don't care if I scale or modify it greatly. I don't care whatever it is. I gotta get it in. And if I miss the workout, it eats away at me. Again, that's probably an unhealthy extreme. So I respect and understand the question because I don't like missing them either. When I personally miss a workout, I don't double up. I don't do 2-a-days. What I would probably do is bump it to a rest day. And just on that particular week, I would find myself working out on a Thursday or a Sunday. And then I would just catch back up with my regularly scheduled program when the next week begins. So I've certainly done the do it on a rest day deal. Could you, to answer your question, could you do a 2-a-day to make it up? You absolutely could. There's nothing wrong with that. And if that treated your body well, you respond okay to that kind of volume, then there's no reason that saying no should be the wrong answer to that. But that's an individual deal. The other question you have here is, should you skip it and keep your rest days consistent? That's also okay, especially if maybe, just maybe, you feel like you might benefit from a little extra recovery, which honestly, a lot of people probably fall into that camp, whether they want to admit it or not, that a little extra rest, if you're training consistently, regularly, okay, you're not sporadic, but you're usually hitting all the workouts, missing a workout every now and then is probably more beneficial than getting in an extra workout every now and then. That would be my broad brush of humanity sort of answer there. So you could also skip it. So again, I'm sorry if it's unsatisfying, but the truth is all three of your options are okay depending upon the person, lifestyle, how you're feeling, and all that other stuff. I think one of the biggest things to realize is, and especially if you are wired a bit like I am, that it drives me bonkers if I don't get in a workout. Life goes right on. Life goes on. You will be just fine. You have not screwed up your fitness. If I miss one workout this month, and that's the only one that I miss in 3 months worth of training, it's not going to be like, when I have terrible body composition and no work capacity, and somebody goes, why is Pat just in such grotesque physical condition? They're going to be like, oh, well, he was supposed to work out 75 times in the last 3 months, but he only worked out 74. So now, he's just a turd and has no capacity. It's just when you put it into the grand perspective like that, it's laughingly obvious as to how much, okay, you worked out 74 times instead of 75. You're good to go. Now, if this happens every week, we're having a different conversation, because something with that frequency most likely would add up to some sort of degradation of performance. But if it's the occasional, life got in the way, Mr. Workout, good to go, right? You're going to be good to go. All right, hopefully that helps there. The next, I see people laughing at the phraseology of turd. That's from days gone by for me in the SEAL teams. As funny as the SEAL teams are, and the SEAL teams are steeped in a tradition of profound vulgarity. I mean, at a level that's almost challenging to comprehend. And as funny as it is, in that environment of incredible, distasteful language, also silly words that weren't vulgar were embraced and used regularly, and they were supposed to be just as impactful as the mean words. And one of them was just, if you weren't pulling your weight, you were just called a turd burglar. I heard that all the time. We also, just the simple word of knucklehead. Knucklehead was used all the time, and it was supposed to hurt when somebody called you a knucklehead. So anyway, every now and then, I'll use the word, turd, a turd burglar, especially, it's family friendly, so it's good to go. Gets the point across. Okay, that was a nice little deviation there. Next question that got upvoted a lot was from Jackson Tyler, and I like this question. Where is it, Jackson? So I get the wording perfectly right. Here we go. Jackson says, I find it's very easy to get selfish with fitness and how I prioritize it over other things inappropriately. Is this something you've personally dealt with or seen others deal with? And if so, any advice in combating these tendencies? My puppy was just chewing on my foot. Yes, Jackson, fantastic question. I've certainly been there, and I've certainly seen plenty of other people struggle with it as well. And I don't so much struggle with it anymore, but I think I'm just in a, don't get me wrong, going back to our previous vernacular, I still have plenty of knucklehead tendencies, and I am still human, so I am still a knucklehead more often than I wish that I was, and do things that I look back and say, I wish I had a time machine. Why did I make that decision? Why did those words come out of my mouth? Why did whatever? That wasn't appropriate. I should have made a different decision. So I'm certainly not giving this advice as if, I haven't made this mistake in quite some time. It still happens. But I'm in a better place these days than I have been ever before in my life with regards to your question, and realizing that my working out is something that I do to support other things in my life, not the other way around. So my fitness, my working out, my time in the gym, the way that I eat, that supports my life, my family, my friends, and everything that I do and want to do with the remainder of my time on this planet. And it's not my family's job and my friend's job and everything else's job to support my fitness. So my fitness should be subservient to all of those other things. Easier said than done, right? I mean, I just mentioned in a previous question that if I don't get in a workout, it bothers my soul. So this is a tug that I deal with on a regular basis because, we've got 2 kids, 2 dogs, occupations out the wazoo. Life is, as it is for, I'm sure, everybody watching this, incredibly full. Free time is at an absolute minimum. And so when I'm finally able to sneak into the garage to give myself some time to work out, and I know that if it happens, it's got to happen now. If it doesn't happen now, the day's a wash. It's not going to happen. And then I get disrupted by any number of things, it's easy to get upset at those other number of things, make those other number of things feel bad. How dare you interrupt my time working out with a barbell? And it's it's an interesting struggle because your health and fitness is profoundly important, right? I mean, not to get crazy and dramatic, right? But if you let your health and fitness slip, are you really being your best self for your life, your family, and your friends? You can make a heck of an argument, no. And so that time is critical, but yet it's those wonderful people that are more important than your time working out. So when they disrupt that time, you're in a bit of a quandary. I have recently, and I wasn't always this way, I think for me, I was a knucklehead for a very long period of my life, and I still have those spurts for sure, but I was a knucklehead for quite some time, and I think I was lucky to have children come into my life later in life compared to earlier. If I take an honest assessment of myself, even if it stings, and I look back on the person that I was 15 years ago or something like that, I think I was far too selfish, far too self-centered, not serving others enough, and not putting others' needs in front of my own frequently enough. And I think I would have reacted more harshly to my personal time being interrupted. Luckily for me anyway, and some people are not like that. Some people probably pulled their head out of their butt years before I did. But luckily, I was fortunate enough to have kids come into my life later where I was at least had some of the wherewithal to realize where everything should fall in the priority list. And therefore, if the children come in the middle of my workout with questions, with homework, with whatever it happens to be, and I have to stop whatever it is I'm doing in round 3 in the middle of a 5-round workout, have a 2 to 3 minute conversation to solve whatever sort of issue happens to be going on, and then I start back up, slowly, but eventually finish the workout. That doesn't bother me anymore. I can actually really say that from the bottom of my heart. Even if I was in the middle of a workout that I'm on, was on a PR pace for a benchmark, it doesn't matter. We don't need to get all deep here or anything like this, but I have memories from my father and interactions that I had with my father where I interrupted things, and from my personal opinion, everyone lives a different life, I don't feel he handled it in the best situation. And as crazy as that is, I'm now 45 years old, and I still remember those interactions to this day. And with no malice, not judging him. Everyone lives a different life. He had a lot going on, etc., but I do remember them. And so I keep that in my head, that whatever it is that I'm doing right now with my family, my friends, my kids, and all that, the way that I conduct myself, the decisions that I make, the choices that I make, that in the moment might seem small, they may not seem small to the party on the other side of that interaction. And it may be something that sticks with that other party, arguably for the rest of their life, be it in a good way, a neutral way, or a bad way. And I try to keep that at the forefront of my mind. I don't always succeed. Like I said, I certainly have knucklehead tendencies every now and then, but I try to keep that at the forefront of my mind and realize that if my workout gets interrupted by somebody that I love or by something which is actually, important, whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. Good to go. I'll still be able to get in some functional movement when they leave. My heart rate's still elevated. The day's still a win. Life goes on. Big wheel keeps on spinning. We're fine. So, but with that being said, maybe you can also rearrange your day to the best of your ability to try to limit that, so that you won't have to be selfish with your fitness. Maybe you can get up early and do it before the family gets up. Maybe you can do it after the family goes to bed, or something like that. Or, try to handle as much stuff as you can, so that you really know in your heart that you handle as much stuff as you can, so that you can look at your family before you head out into the garage and say, hey, look, we're good. I just need 45 minutes. Everything's handled. You guys are all, you're fed, you're happy, things are going great. Shy of somebody, just having a compound fracture or profusely bleeding, I'll be back in 45 minutes. We're all good. So I think, there's some stuff that you can do, but I think each person just has to dig deep as to what is truly important in their life, figure it out, lay out your priorities in that order, and then realize that you still won't do it perfect all the time. You're still going to mess it up, but just learn from it and move forward. Okay, let's see. Next one from Philip Isles. Philip, where are you? I think I must have scrolled by you. Okay, here we go. Great question. It's got a lot of good upvotes. Thumbs over the bar or around the bar during pull-ups? ? Bar muscle-ups, toes to bar. Is there a right or wrong? How does one decide? Great question. When you're being taught this in a lot of courses, it's going to be thumbs around the bar without exception from day one, and always keep it there. And I am in agreement with that the overwhelming majority of the time. So if you're looking for just one quick answer, wrap your thumbs around the bar and always keep your thumbs wrapped around the bar. So there's the simplest one. Now let's have some real talk. And that's the simplest one, not only for grip strength, but also for safety reasons. The other goal is to have a better grip on the bar so that, heaven forbid, we don't want you peeling off the bar and then falling down onto a mat, onto the floor, onto concrete, onto whatever it happens to be. So that's what we want. So yes, thumbs wrapped around the bar. When I was reading these questions on my phone last night just to see what I'd have to dive into this morning, I was sitting next to my wife, and so for anybody who's new to Linchpin, she's a far better athlete than I am. She competed at the games a couple years, and she's a lifelong gymnast, 18 years of gymnastics, got a full ride scholarship to University of Washington. So, it's no stranger to pull-ups and grip and things like that. And I asked her that question, Philip's question, and she kind of said the same thing, like, yes, people should wrap their thumbs around the bar. She's like, with that being said, I never wrap my thumbs around the bar. This is her talking. And of course I knew that because I see her work out every day. And she said female gymnasts, at least when she was trained, they never wrapped their thumbs around the bar. And that's not how they were trained, because their hands were too small and the diameter of the bar was too big, that you actually would have a worse grip if you tried to wrap your thumb around the bar, that you had to just cup it with your hands. And so they trained that way 5 hours a day for 18 years in a row. And so most people haven't trained not wrapping their thumbs around a bar 5 hours a day for 18 years. So if you have somebody that, isn't wrapping their thumbs around the bar, but yet that's how they've lived their entire dedicated life as a gymnast, they have infinitely more capacity and grip strength than the average human being, in confidence and capacity, and know their body, they're probably fine. But for most of the average citizenry walking around, you should probably wrap your thumbs around the bar. With that being said, if I'm being honest about myself also, I wrap my thumbs around the bar sometimes, but not always. And I certainly was not a lifelong gymnast. Nobody's ever confused me for that. But when I was a young man, growing up in our house in Massachusetts, working out down in our basement, or as we'd say in Massachusetts, the cellar, working out in the cellar, what we had, I did not have a pull-up bar down in the basement, but what we did have was a big I-beam that ran the length of the house in the ceiling. And I would do pull-ups on that I-beam. So the I-beam is, just basically a ledge. So, I would just put my hand on, just my fingers flat on the top of it, and there was nothing to wrap my thumbs around and grab. So I did pull-ups just like putting your fingers on a shelf. So I put my hands on that shelf of the I-beam, and I did pull-ups on that I-beam for probably a decade is how I did pull-ups. So I think it helped me develop some grip strength and some pull-up capacity. And then when I finally got to a pull-up bar, life seemed fantastic. But I also think because of that, I got comfortable and strong to a degree, not wrapping my thumbs around the bar. But I do wrap them around every now and then, for sure. I don't like to have my thumbs wrapped around on certain movements, but when I think about like knees to elbows, I absolutely wrap them around. I wrap them around on bar muscle ups, things like that. So again, short, quick answer, please wrap your thumbs around the bar, not only for improved grip strength, but also to keep you ideally from peeling off the bar. Oh, I see my puppy wandering near the door, which is fine. I just want to make sure he's not going to urinate all over the floor. I just took him out before we started this conversation because you good, buddy? All right, there you go. Yeah. Just eat that bone and sit down and just be a happy little dog. There you go. Good work. Okay. I think crisis averted. All right. Next question was from Cameron. Cameron, where are you, sir? Where are you? Here we go. Cameron Vader. How do I decide if a workout that I programmed worked or didn't work? Do I look at the Beyond the Whiteboard results, my own results, reactions in the Facebook group, etc., etc.? Fantastic question. And the answer is yes to all of them. I absolutely look at the Beyond the Whiteboard data. I look at the times posted on the Instagram page. I look at all the reactions and conversations in the private Facebook group. And I will say, and this is not coming, I hope it doesn't come off as like from a place of hubris or whatnot, but been programming for a very long time, a really, really long time, and I love it. It's fantastic. It's my passion. But I've got so many reps programming now that it's really, really rare that a workout misses the mark. Really rare. And that's kind of because, it's like studying for a test. If you study for years and years and years, test days shouldn't be that challenging, right? And so it's just there's no secret sauce to that. It's the same way you get good at anything else in the world, from riding a bike to playing the guitar to speaking another language. Like, you do it ideally for years and years. You make a tremendous amount of mistakes when you're a novice. You still make a lot of mistakes, but fewer when you're an intermediate. And then ideally you make less mistakes, but you still make them every now and then when you're expert, and you continue to improve your knowledge, so on and so forth. But you're making a significantly smaller amount of mistakes as your capacity and proficiency at whatever that particular endeavor is, becomes more familiar with you. So just after programming for so many years and so many workouts and so many interactions with athletes in all different walks of life and environments, I've got a really just good sense of how the workouts will feel and interact based upon, either as a standalone workout or as based upon what we did the day prior or 2 days before, and how it will react the next day. And that's just something. There is certainly, my dog is chewing on a bag. Rebel, hey, don't chew on that. So I gave you a bone. Here, look at that. Doesn't that look more delicious? There you go. He's a mischievous little dog. There is certainly knowledge of the body and muscle groups and, science involved in that as well, but very few things supersede just time under tension, just reps, just having done it, because you can't avoid the lessons learned and doing things improperly, making the mistakes, learning from the mistakes. That's the big thing. You can't just do something, you can't just make mistakes. You have to learn from the mistakes and then drive forward. That being said, I will say what I do every now and then get a little bit off, not too frequently, but it does happen every now and then, is actually the goal times. The goal times that I put out, the more likely time and the super fitness robot time, they're, 9 times out of 10 right where they need to be. But every now and then I'll get caught off guard. I will calculate the goal times based upon where I truly think that they should be, and the community will surprise me. Sometimes everybody's just fitter and faster than I expected, and And that's cool. It's cool to be surprised like that, because that is a new data point, and that's something that I marked down and learned, that this particular combination, or this particular area, like maybe it's a triplet, in one of these areas of the workout is where I thought would be the most costly from time and resting and hands on the hips before they could continue. And as it turned out, that's not what happened. Or maybe it was the most demanding part, but it took a fraction of the time that I thought that it would take. And again, so interesting stuff happens like that every now and then, and it's kind of cool, because this is a beautiful process, and the learning never stops. And it's funny, some people on Linchpin need to give themselves a bit more credit, right? I'll see something like this will happen every now and then, and I'll see somebody post, like in the private Facebook group, like, coach must have made a problem with the, made the goal times inappropriate, because there's no way that I'm a super fitness robot, but I got the super fitness robot today. And whenever I see those, and I try to comment on this, I want to be like, give yourself more credit. Like, don't take anything away from yourself. Celebrate the fact that you got that super fitness robot time. The super fitness robot time is not supposed to be what Matt Fraser's going to get. That wouldn't be fun if, he and Tia Claire Toomey could get it and no one else can. That would just be demoralizing every day of your life. So the super fitness robot time is supposed to be just really darn challenging, but humanly possible, but really darn challenging. And if every now and then the workout aligns with your capacity and you get that, embrace it. It's cool. It's cool. So, but for most of us, the more likely time is plenty challenging on a regular day. So that is that. Let's see. What is this? Oh, Eric, you asked a question about breathing, and you posted a photo of Carrie Pierce and some specific breathing techniques. If I had knowledge about some, because you feel it was a bit of a struggle during high-intensity workouts. And truth be told, I don't have a lot of information in that arena. I will call Carrie Pierce and ask her, specifically related to that photo, what was going on, and if she was employing some specific breathing technique. If she was, I'm not aware of it, and I don't want to speak out of turn. And also, if I'm being truthful, in all of my interactions with athletes of every level, from casual CrossFitters to games athletes, breathing is almost never brought up and mentioned. A lot of other aspects of training and capacity and skill sets and tactics and whatnot are, but many an athlete will just say that they just breathe, and maybe they're not putting as much thought into it as we think that they are. But I don't want to just assume that, so I'm going to dive into that a little bit more, and let's circle back to this one. But I certainly don't want to put out any bad information. Let's see. It's been 30 minutes. Yeah, I wrote down, if I have time, I'd like to answer Louis V's question. Even though it wasn't upvoted a lot, I think it's a good question, so we do have time. I'm going to answer this question, and then we'll do our shout-out. So here's Louis's question. He says, "Hi, I'm a new one here. From the approach that less is more, should we apply this to accessory work in the skills practice time? I totally get that 3 workouts a day will destroy you on the on like a medium/long run day, but what about devoting extra time, say 30 minutes, to practice or technical work in skills? Thanks in advance." Okay. Did you just pull something out of the trash? Hey. Oh, no, what do you got? Hold on 1 second, please. Sorry. Hey, no, you can't do that. Give me that. Give me that. You are a little stinker. Here, say hi to everybody. Ready? Okay. Oh, you little crazy dog. There you are. Okay, thank you. Hi. Thank you so much. Thank you. Look at everybody. You're just a destructive force of nature, aren't you? Are you trying to bite my face or lick me? I appreciate you not going to the bathroom in here. That's why we're going to finish here shortly and get this dog outside. Okay, there's the bone. Eat the bone. Ready? Eat the bone. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that delicious? Yeah. There we go. Good stuff. Okay. All right, he appears occupied for the moment. Don't walk back over to the trash. Hey, no, you can't do that. He's just a devil. Very cute devil, but a devil nonetheless. Okay. For those of you eventually listening to this on podcast, it won't quite do the same, but you can find this on the CrossFit Linchpin YouTube channel and watch this if you want to see the little puppy. But yeah, tough to show a puppy on just audio. So, all right, for Lewis's question, yes, extra time, if you have the time, you have the energy, and you feel up to it, and you would like to devote some extra time because your schedule allows it, and put 30 minutes of extra skills or technique or practice time into one of your sessions, green light, fantastic. I think it's awesome and you should do it. Practice is a beautiful thing, and done appropriately, it shouldn't just beat you up, shouldn't be overly taxing, though it may tax your central nervous system if you're trying to practice how to learn walk on your hands or something like that, but it shouldn't leave you feeling all beat up and sore. And so if you can sprinkle that in, you are completely authorized to do that, and everybody should feel authorized to do that on whatever area maybe it is that you struggle with a bit. If the barbell snatch is very troublesome for you, there's nothing wrong with it just putting on a light load and just working that technique, videotaping yourself, reviewing the video, comparing it to, idealized, beautiful, Olympic snatch video from, Chad Vaughn or, some incredible lifter. Same with the handstand walks, watch the videos we post in the handstand walk, videotape yourself, see where is your body positioning compared to everyone else, practice low ring muscle ups, whatever it happens to be, fantastic, good to go. So green light. And then he also asks, is the Ask Me Anything recorded and uploaded? And yes, it is. So these Ask Me Anythings, they'll get recorded, they'll get put onto the CrossFit Linchpin YouTube channel, and then they eventually make their way into podcast form and will pop out probably in a couple weeks in podcast form. And that's it. So, before my dog does anything crazy, let's end with some of the shout-outs. So again, I try to take some screenshots from the private Facebook group. And here's what I found. All right. Bart says he's been with Linchpin for several months. Initially was cherry-picking workouts. I appreciate you being honest about that. We've all been there. But after deciding to take part in an amateur CrossFit competition for the first time, he followed 100% of the programming on the site. In the past, he was competing in powerlifting for 5 years and then 9 years in strongman. Very cool, by the way. And, I guess in the past he'd ruptured both biceps, which he couldn't compete with in the past, so he switched to CrossFit 3 years ago. But anyway, long story short, he participated in the competition, and surprisingly, he was only 4 points away from entering the final, which is very cool. He's 40 years old, 265 pounds, and that makes me very happy. Wonderful things happen when, you just do one workout a day and you don't cherry pick, so good on you there. And then, just had to give a shout out here. No particular post, but just I screenshotted Deanne Walton. She's just a beast, master's athlete, involved in the fire department, and she's always just putting up monster times, even though she's got a crazy work schedule, and she keeps getting it done. So, Deanne, we notice you are crushing it. Nick B, he's our admin on the Facebook page. Nick just does a lot of awesome stuff behind the scenes that nobody probably realizes. So, Nick, of course, thank you. And he is... Oh! Why did you do that to the trash can? You are just... This dog tested my patience. He tested my patience. So, Nick, thank you for all that you do. I know that you are involved in a challenging situation at the moment with the United States military, and we thank you for that. Hang in there, brother. Cameron Talley. I like this one. It's not for time. So he made a post that he was thinking about maybe doing a workout today, RX, but after warming up, didn't feel right, so he chose to exercise, as he calls it, his quote-unquote linchpin right, not to do it for time. And I absolutely love that. And he says he's very thankful for a program that encourages decisions like this. So glad you made a good decision for your body. And then we have to just give a shout out to Olivia Brooks, new mom, had herself a baby, a big baby, 10 pounds, 7 ounces. Congratulations. Hope the recovery is going well, and we look forward to more photos in the private Facebook group. And then Richard Prairie. So every Tuesday we've got Tasty Tuesday, where we post recipes and food and stuff like that that people are eating. And Richard has gotten into the habit of posting his weekly menu, which they write on like a cool chalkboard at his house. And I always look forward to seeing what it is, seeing what's on the menu. He's always got some really tasty stuff looking on that. But everybody was intrigued by what was posted for Friday, which was not chicken pot pie, but pizza pot pie. How amazing does that sound? So whenever the coronavirus is over, we're all going to Richard's house for pizza pot pie. And then lastly, Tanner Bennett, part human, part just forklift, I believe, from the loading that this gentleman lifts on a regular basis. The load he puts over his head, most people would be happy to deadlift. And so the other day when we had some overhead squats, Tanner says, haven't tested my max in a while, so decided to see where my overhead squat max was. Got a 4-pound PR, ended up overhead squatting 319 pounds. And he's got a video accompanying that, and it's gorgeous. No question on depth, no question on anything. The gentleman is just a ferocious, ferocious human being. So that's it. Everybody have a great day. I'm going to make sure that my puppy doesn't destroy my home or my office. And we'll talk later. All right. Have a good day.